For those who cannot see, even a little, beyond the world of manifestation, it may seem quite difficult to contradict laws that are established and considered essential. By stating that two bodies cannot occupy the same space at the same time, or that a body cannot be in two different places at the same time, one assumes an impossibility that seems natural. However, for the potentiality of being, contradicting such things is exceedingly trivial. For some, it is no surprise how much admiration there is for the transmission of sounds and images through space, and for the mechanical movement of bodies on land, water, and air, when all of this is already seen and understood as inherent, natural, and easy to accomplish for the being. But those who already know these things also perceive how competence and intelligence are servants of everyone and anyone who claims them. The same is true for the appropriation of science, which makes references, questions, and explains the mechanics of a parallel universe, where all scientific creation is a copy of what is already in the nature of being and its possibilities. It is enough for this being to simply put into practice its natural abilities, without the need for artificial substitutions, no matter how scientific they may seem. Therefore, in the formation of being, a simple look at the concepts and characteristics attributed to it clarifies how much ego and possession are Siamese elements, as one does not exist without the other, and the elimination of one implies the elimination of the other. It is evident how vanity and greed impregnate these elements, and how the exposure of these filters forces the being to focus its gaze solely on things, with the purpose of highlighting the imposition of difficulties so that the being does not understand the world as an extension of itself. The relationship with being in unrecognizable worlds creates the concept of the ego as a necessary interface for connections with these worlds. The ego, as a consumer of culture and local manifestations, burdens the being with the aspects of a taker and a predator as primary forms of coexistence and preservation. All the joy and all the suffering of the being are strongly linked to what the ego acquires and possesses, and to what it fails to acquire or loses. The measure that evaluates and describes the balance of the being, in the depth with which it penetrates the things of the world, is based on this principle. The more acquisitions and possessions the being in manifestation obtains, the more it will be rooted in matter, and the ego will be strengthened and justified by the sum of the points of its conquests and victories. A simple connection with the inner nature of being overturns the arguments opposed to its own nature, and confronts artificial power, limited and misused, with the natural, unlimited, and inherent power of being. The gaze of shallow eyes divides, while the gaze of deep eyes maintains unity.